Thanks. It's fantastic to be here. A couple of years ago, I was getting on a city bus in Copenhagen, and I normally try to avoid this, okay? Because city buses in Copenhagen are not a good experience. The bus drivers are really, usually very surly. Everybody else on the bus looks like they're having a bad day. But anyway, I had to go home. My bike was in the shop for repair, so I get on this city bus, and as I get on, there's the driver sitting behind the wheel, and he's, 55? Gray hair, glasses, gray beard. And just as I get on the bus, he looks me right in the eyes and he goes, "Hey there, buddy, welcome aboard. I saved you a seat right here." And I was like, whoa, I did not see that coming. So, I pay my ticket, I sit at the front of the bus, and I watch this guy. And he's genuinely happy and friendly. He smiles at everybody, he talks to everybody. He gives little sightseeing announcements. On your right-hand side, you're now seeing Rosenborg Castle. And there was a great mood on the bus that day. And this is a fantastic example of something called, in Danish, arbejdsglæde. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, come on, Alex, that's not a word in any language on this planet. And I'll give you this. Danish is a horrible fucking language. But this is, in fact, a word, and it's not magical anywhere. Arbejde in Danish means work. Glæde means happiness. So this is literally just work, happiness, okay? Now, the interesting thing here is that this word exists only in the Scandinavian languages. Only in Danish, Swedish, Norwegian, and Finnish is there a word for happiness at work. This word does not exist in English or in French. They don't have it in Spanish. They don't have it in Germany. They certainly don't have it in Germany. And this is not a coincidence. We have this word in the Scandinavian languages because we have focused for decades now on creating great workplaces. This is not as common in the rest of the world. I speak about this all over the world. And when I speak in England, when I speak in France, when I speak especially in the US, people have no real concept of this happiness at work. And especially in the US, the attitude seems to be, well, of course I hate my job. That's why I get paid, right? So we sort of have a head start in the Scandinavian countries. And when you look at happiness surveys, happiness at work surveys across different countries, you will always find the Scandinavian nations at the top. And you will always find Denmark as number one, and then, the other countries, so suck it, Sweden. And in case you're wondering, this is how you pronounce it, arbejdsglæde. And a large part of what I do is teaching this word to the rest of the world. In Japan, they don't have any arbejdsglæde either. In Japan, they have something called karoshi, which means death from overwork. I'm going there in a couple of months, so let's see if we can change that. So what is this? What is this thing? Since we have a word for it, and it literally it is really a feeling of happiness you get at work. It's not, every Dane could tell you this, that it's not being deliriously happy every day. It's just, when, I kind of like my job. I go into work and I feel like I do good work. I like it there. I make a difference. I have some great coworkers. I like them. They like me. You know what? I come home from work and I kind of feel like going in again the day after. That's arbejdsglæde. It's not this huge bliss or joy. It's just, I kind of like what I do. It's that feeling of happiness. And the operative word here is that it's a feeling. Arbejdsglæde is how you feel about your job. On a regular Monday, rainy Monday morning, sitting at your desk, how do you feel? Do you feel happy, energized, motivated, engaged, fulfilled, proud, appreciated? Or do you sit at your desk feeling stressed, nervous, frustrated, sad, angry, disappointed? And it's really how you feel about your job when you're at work or at home when you think about your job. Let's say on a Sunday evening, as the weekend is coming to an end and it's soon time to go back to work, and you're sort of preparing for the week ahead. How do you feel about your job? Do you have that feeling of, I think it's going to be a good week? Or is it more a feeling of, oh my God, I would rather walk a mile across broken glass than go into work tomorrow? It's really that feeling. It's how you feel about your job. And I want to make this perfectly clear that arbejdsglæde is not job satisfaction. And I make this point because this is what a lot of companies measure and focus on and try to improve. We got to improve employee satisfaction. And the distinction, and these are obviously related, but they're two different things. And arbejdsglæde is how you feel about your job. Job satisfaction is what you think about your job. You know, when you sit down, maybe once a year when you fill out the employee satisfaction survey, 150 questions, and you go, well, you know, all things considered, you know, maybe I live a little far from work, but on the other hand, I like my coworkers. Maybe my boss is not so nice, but I'm good at what I do, and you weigh everything and you decide, are you satisfied or are you not satisfied? That is a cerebral mental exercise. But arbejdsglæde is how you feel about your job. On a regular day at work, how do you feel? Do you feel good or do you feel bad? And if you ask me, that is way more interesting than how you think about your job and job satisfaction. And in fact, if you look at the correlation between how people perform at work, if you feel good at work, if you have arbejdsglæde, you are much more effective. If you have job satisfaction, that does not really affect your productivity very much. So this is the idea. And I want to make this point that anyone can have arbejdsglæde. Even bus drivers in Copenhagen, okay? Even sewage workers. I talked to this young guy, he'd recently been hired as a sewage worker. And of course, you know, going into the sewers of Copenhagen, it's nasty, it's dirty, it's filthy, it stinks. But he loved his job because he made a difference. He could really contribute. Because if the sewers don't work, we're all in deep shit, and I mean that literally. Sorry? Yeah, literally. And also, they had a great teamwork, a great sense of camaraderie on his team. He also told me, as a new sewage worker, when you first become, you know, when are you really a part of the team? It's the first time you've been dipped by accident. And we're talking head under, okay? Yeah. So anyone, really anyone can have arbejdsglæde. And I want to show you an example. And just to sort of set the tone here, I want to show you a short 20-second video from a toilet, okay? And this is Valerie, who takes care of one of the toilets in the airport in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Waiting, no line, no waiting. Gotta go right now. Hey, how are you? Welcome to Valerie's Happy Restroom. Hey, girl, I'm trying to make everybody feel good. It's a good day. Sunshine on the outside, sunshine on the inside. No waiting, no waiting.
How awesome is that? This is Valerie, and she cleans the toilets. She loves her job. She obviously has arbejdsglæde. In fact, if you go on YouTube and you search for Valerie's Happy Restroom, you can find 15 different videos that people have shot with their cell phones because they think Valerie is awesome. So she's happy and she makes a lot of other people happy. Valerie has a motto. Her motto is, don't worry, be happy. Yeah, I know. So anyone can be happy at work, but what does it take? What do we need in order to have arbejdsglæde? And of course, this is where a lot of people say, well, it's about the salary. A raise makes me happy. Or it's a title, you know, a promotion or perks or a pension plan or, you know, I don't know, desks that go up or down or fruit in the office or good coffee or whatever. And if you look at the science, it's none of those. None of those actually make us happy at work. And if you look at the science, I think it comes down to two things. Not that they explain everything, but by far the majority of our positive emotions in the workplace come from two things, and I want to show you those two things. First of all, it's results. And results is when you're good at what you do. You contribute, you make a difference, you kick ass. And you can go home after a week at work, you can go home on a Friday afternoon, and you can look back at your week and you can be proud of yourself and say, I did an awesome job. That feeling of accomplishment, that feeling of making a difference really makes us happy at work. One of the major sources of positive emotions in the workplace. And I want to make this perfectly clear that results don't necessarily have to be, you know, checking off items on your to-do list, or answering emails in your inbox, or completing that project on time, or, you know, achieving all your KPIs. What really matters, what makes us happy at work, are meaningful results. Not just completing tasks, but knowing that I make a positive difference for someone else. For instance, a teacher who can see her kids grow and develop and learn new things, that's results, that's meaningful results. I talked to a scout leader the other day, and this is something she does in her spare time. She's not paid 2 hours a week. She has this scout troop of 20 Danish kids. And she says, you know what? I do this because I want them to grow up and be awesome adults. Okay, awesome adults. That's making a meaningful difference. If you're a nurse and you can see your patients get better, that is meaningful results. That's what makes us happy. Not necessarily meeting the deadline or keeping the budget or selling that project. When you know that you do work that helps somebody else, that's what makes us happy at work. And a lot of jobs offer this, and some jobs don't. Some jobs do not really offer meaningful results. Let's say you make landmines. Is that meaningful? Probably not. If it is to you, I don't want to meet you. So meaningful results really make us happy at work. So Karen talked very, very well earlier about doing this. So how can you do this? Let's try it. Please stand up. It's really important to show people that they get results, that they make a difference, that they do good work. And you can do this by giving people praise and appreciation. Praising others is such a good way to show them that they get meaningful results. And you can praise people in many ways. I mean, you can just go up and say they do good work. You can write them an email. You can praise team members in meetings. But my favorite way to praise someone is to go up to them, put up your hand, and give them a high five. Let's try that again. Yes, because a good high five should sting, okay? Shouldn't actually hurt, but it should prickle a little, okay? So let's try that. Give 3 people around you a high five. Go! Yeah, awesome. Now, that's if somebody does good work. If somebody does great work, you can take it a step further. You give them a high five, you put up your thumbs and you go, you rock, yeah? Do that to 3 new people. High five, you rock. Oh yeah, thank you, have a seat. Awesome. And you may be thinking, nah, that's not really my style. That's fine. If you don't like high-fiving, please don't do it. Just find your way to praise others. Could you be the kind of person who's just really, really good at noticing the great things other people do and telling them about it? That makes us very happy at work because it shows us that we get results. The other thing, and this one, it's equally important. I didn't rank them according to importance, okay? The other one is just as important, and that is relationships. And relationships, it's very banal. It's when you like the people you work with, okay? There's a good mood in the office. You like your coworkers. They like you. A good relationship to your boss is vitally important because we're going to spend a lot of time with our coworkers, and everything just goes easier in the workplace when we actually like each other. I'm not saying we all have to be best friends in the workplace, but just that level of respect, open communication, and knowing each other, not just as coworkers, but as human beings, so we actually know a little something about the person behind the professional title. I think that really helps create those great relationships. And they are absolutely vital. So how can you create those? Well, a very simple thing you can do is when you have a coffee break or a lunch break in the workplace, take the time to talk about something other than work, okay? Instead of talking about that project or this client, take the time to get to know people, to recreate those relationships. If it's a Monday morning, go, how was your weekend? If it's right after the summer vacation, tell me about your vacation. Where did you go? How was it? What did you like about it? That's a very simple thing, and a lot of people don't. More and more people skip coffee breaks, eat lunch at their desk, and they're missing a really good chance to create great relationships in the workplace. There are many, many other things you can do. We're going to come back to some of them, but I do have a favorite, and we're going to try it, so stand up. You saw this coming, didn't you? Yeah. And this is about something really, really stupid, okay? This is about saying good morning when you come into work in the morning. And there are many ways you can do this. Let's say you came in early and you're already at your desk, you're at your computer, you're writing this really important email, you're completely focused. A coworker shows up behind you, goes, good morning, and without looking up, you just go, meh. So let's try that. Without looking at the people next to you, say, meh, meh. Yeah, that's not real good. That was a level 1 good morning. Let's go up to level 2. On level 2, you actually do say good morning, but you still don't look at people. So say good morning at the people next to you without looking at them. Morning. Still not real good. So let's go to level 3. And on level 3, you must look at the person you say good morning to. And it's not enough to look, you must actually make eye contact, brief eye contact. You don't need to do this, okay? So make eye contact and say good morning to 3 other people. Go! Yes, awesome, much better. Now we're talking. We can also go to level 4. On level 4, don't worry, there are only 22 levels. There are 5 levels, okay? On level 4, it's not enough to say good morning. You must add a little something extra. You can say good morning, it's great to see you. Good morning, how are you this morning? Good morning, I hope you have a great day. Or whatever you can come up with, but to add a little something extra. So on level 4, make eye contact, add something extra. Say good morning to 3 new people. Go! Yes, awesome, fantastic. Stay where you are. Stay where you are. Finally, on level 5, you must also touch the person you say good morning to. A lot of you, yes, a lot of you did it already. I didn't even tell you to. So on level 5, and I'm thinking a handshake, clap on the shoulder. You can hug, but only if you want to, okay? So on level 5, make eye contact, add something extra, touch the other person, say good morning to 3 new people. Go! Yes. Awesome. Excellent. Have a seat. Yeah. You guys did a great job. So give your neighbors a high five. You rock. And you may think, isn't that incredibly stupid and banal? And you'd be right, it is, but that's why it works. It's a stupid little thing that we can all do every morning to create great relationships. So, to sum up, there are 2 things that really make us happy at work. And the first thing was? I can't hear you. First thing was? Results. Second thing was? Relationships. Awesome. So, there we go. So is that the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about happiness at work? No. But I do think that about 80 to 85% of our positive emotions in the workplace come from those 2 things, results and relationships, or when you do great work together with awesome people. If you have a day where you can go home and you say, you know what, I got so much done today, I can see I'm making a positive difference, I'm helping other people, and oh my God, we had such a great time in the office, we had so much fun together, I really liked it there. That's a good day. That's when you come home with more energy to share with your friends and your family and your kids and for your hobbies. That's when you come home and you have the energy to create a good night at home, and that's when you want to come back in the next day. And if you don't have that, I mean, we got nothing done in the office today. I tried so hard, but there were so many meetings, I got nowhere, and they were all assholes. That's when you come home and you just don't want to go back. And that's when you have no energy for, for your life at home. So results and relationships are the two primary drivers of Arbeitsglæde, of positive emotions in the workplace. So if it's such a good idea, why isn't everybody happy at work? This is a picture of the Foxconn factory, one of the Foxconn factory buildings. And you will notice the nets. And yes, those nets are there to prevent people from jumping to their deaths from the building. I'm not even kidding. Seriously, suicide nets outside the office building. So can we agree on this? Not everybody is happy at work. In fact, if you look at studies, for instance, in England, it turns out that about 30 to 35% of Englishmen hate their jobs. Not just dislike them, but actively hate what they do and wish they could change jobs tomorrow. And why is that? Why do we accept that? Why do we even put up with that? And the answer is historical. This is Plato. And even going back to the ancient Greeks, there has been an idea that work is something, the ancient Greeks said that work is something slaves do so that free men have time for philosophy and sports, okay? It's always been that work is something you should avoid if you can, something you do if you have to, if you're a slave and your master tells you to. And this attitude has been pervasive through history, and I think it especially came to the fore in the industrial age. And the industrial age was incredibly hard for workers everywhere. And you had child workers, you had people working in dangerous conditions, you had people working for almost no money, you had people working and living in the same place and ending up owning the factory owner money because you had to buy everything from the company store. You had people working incredibly dangerous machines and so on. So this attitude has really been with us, that work is something we have to do. And if you could avoid work in any way, you would. And I think we really have to change that attitude, but it's very, very pervasive in a lot of people. And I think that's part of the reason why we accept bad jobs, why many people currently hate their jobs, but stay there, and stay there for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, sometimes their entire work lives, working in jobs they absolutely hate. And we need to change that attitude so that we know that, so that we feel that, of course I have to work. I mean, I have to work to make a living, but that doesn't mean I have to work in a job I hate. I want a job I can like. Also because Arbeitsglæde is really good for us. And there are many, many studies that show the advantages of loving what you do. One reason is time. If you look at time studies, what we Europeans spend most of our time on over an entire lifetime, from cradle to grave, from you're born until you die, number one is sleep, and number two is work. So you will spend most of your waking hours at work. Also, happiness in life. Your happiness at work really affects your happiness in life. They've done some studies to find out what makes us happy in life. And the number one factor that makes us happy in life is a good romantic relationship. Number two is friends. And number three is a good and meaningful job. A good and meaningful job. A job where you can see that you're making a positive difference for someone. So work is not the most important, but it's up there. For instance, romantic relationships. Men who live in a good romantic relationship live on average 6.5 years longer than men who don't. Shows how important that is. Ladies, you get 2.5 years. Sorry. But you live longer to begin with. It's only fair. I was giving a speech in Copenhagen a couple years ago, and I mentioned that men who live in a good romantic relationship live 6.5 years longer. And I hear a female voice somewhere on the first row, very quietly, she says, "Oh no." I never figured out what that was about. And also studies show that if you're happy at work, you have better health. And also you do a better job. There are tons of studies from psychology, sociology, and neurology that document what happens to you when you are happy, when you're in a good mood, not when you're satisfied. Generally I feel I'm doing okay. But when you're happy right now, in this moment when you're feeling good, and we know from those studies that you are more productive, more creative, more helpful, and so on. And this also means that you do a better job. And in fact, there was a study out of the US that looked at the correlation between success and happiness. And this being an American study, of course, the idea was that if you are successful, you will become happy. But it turns out it's the other way around. If you are happy with what you do, you will ultimately do a better job and become more successful. So chasing success thinking it will make you happy is usually a failed idea. But working at something you love is very, very likely to make you more successful and ultimately make you more money. And the same thing goes for companies. Happy companies make more money. My favorite example is Southwest Airlines. And if you've flown on them, you know it's typically a very good experience. I've tried it. They were great. I was giving a speech in Copenhagen a couple years ago, and I mentioned Southwest Airlines, and the CEO stands up and tells everybody that he's tried it. He was in the US, he got on a Southwest flight, he finds his seat row, he opens the overhead compartment, and up there's a stewardess. Yes, there's a flight attendant lying in the overhead compartment. And just as he opens it, she goes, boom! It's the kind of thing they do. They're very happy at work. And what they say at Southwest Airlines is, our #1 priority is not the bottom line, it's not the clients, the passengers, it's the employees. Most of all, we want our people to be happy. And if you think about it, they spend way more time in the workplace than your customers will ever do. Okay, so your #1 priority has got to be keep your employees happy, because they will make the customers happy, and then you will make more money. And Southwest Airlines have a certain credibility when they say this, because they're the only major airline in the world that has turned a profit every single year for the last 30 years. In an industry where other companies lose billions, they make money every single year. Happy workplaces make more money. In the interest of time, I'm going to skip this awesome story. It has elephants. And get right to the meat of it. Make arbejdsglæde your #1 career goal. Instead of chasing salaries or titles or promotions, say, you know what, I'm in this for the happiness. More than anything else, I want to be happy at work. I refuse to spend most of my working hours in a job that I hate. Secondly, it's the happiness, it's not the satisfaction, okay? And we really have to focus on this, because that's what everybody else chases, is the satisfaction. And finally, you got to do something about it. In the words of a great philosopher, do or do not, there is no try. So what are some things you can do? And I just want to end with this. The level 5 good morning. What if you started your workday tomorrow when you're back in the office by giving some of your coworkers a level 5 good morning? How about praising people? What if you made a point of every single day you find one person who's doing a great job and praise that person for it? What about something like random acts of workplace kindness? Doing something nice for somebody else just because. How about me time? Taking 2 minutes to yourself every day where you can just sit down, relax, and sort of chill out and ask yourself, how am I doing today? And a final exercise that I think is awesome is every day, just before you leave work, write down 3 good things that happened to you at work that day. 3 things that made you happy at work that day. And of course, you need to do this. And I do not have a fancy iPhone app, okay? I've got these. And I brought enough for everybody. And on the front of this, those 5 things are described. There's the level 5 good morning, praise someone, me time, random acts of workplace kindness, remember 3 good things. And on the other side, there's a to-do list. So today is Monday. Tomorrow is Tuesday. I'm that good. And here it says level 5 good morning, okay? So you can, once you've done that, you can sort of check that off, and then it says praise a coworker, check that off, and so on. Then you have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and so on. There's enough for the next 2 weeks. And that's a good way to remind yourself. So grab one of these on your way out to the next break, and that's a good way to remind yourself to do something about it, because happiness at work is something we do. You create a great day at work together today, or you don't. And then you do it again tomorrow, or you don't. And with that, I just want to say that I think happiness at work is incredibly important. I also think it's a great business strategy, because if you ask me, the future does not belong to the rich, the future does not belong to the powerful, and the future does not belong to the Chinese. The future belongs to the happy. Thank you!